reaction was great. People loved it. People were happy. The CNG Owners Association was happy at the time. They're not happy now with the slash in prices, but they were happy at the time. People thought the rates would come down. People thought transport fares would come down. People thought maybe as a benefit the price of consumer goods, which would also link to the price of fuel and transport, would come down. But actually none of that has happened. And the reason behind the lack of an impact could be two. Again, one is the fact that people in Pakistan generally do not reduce prices. If I'm a transporter and my input cost goes down, I'll just think of that as a benefit and try and make a windfall gain from that as long as I can increase my margins. Why would I lower prices? The other thing that hasn't happened is that people who deliver consumer goods like vegetables or fruit and stuff like that, they haven't reduced their rates either. Now they have a rationale behind this, which may or may not be true, and they're saying that ever since the price has been cut down, the average shutdown in Sindh for CNG stations has been 3 days to 4 days a week. So gas is simply not available unless you're willing to wait in line for 3 to 4 hours. And for a lot of commercial operators, that's just not viable. They want to be plying the streets, they want to be transporting goods or passengers. They don't want to be waiting in line at a CNG station 4 hours a day. So the impact, while the intention may have been good, the impact actually hasn't been that good. Far from it. The most impoverished class of society doesn't even have cars, so they don't use CNG. Then slightly better than that, they use buses and rickshaws and taxis, and rates haven't come down. Now, I think what the Supreme Court or any other government body, if they actually want to affect the masses, what they need to do is make CNG a fuel of the masses and not of the privileged few. I mean, 100 rupees a kg or even 60 rupees a kg, the lower middle income groups or the impoverished, as we call them, cannot afford that. Why is there CNG in a Land Cruiser? Why is there CNG in a 25 lakh rupee or 24 lakh rupee Civic? Those guys should be asked to run on petrol. So there should be a restriction that CNG will not be used on cars above, say, 1000 cc. The issue with the CNG pump owners as well is that they've been actually put between a rock and a hard place, and it's not really their fault. It was the Musharraf government that made this about turn in the petroleum policy and in the fuel policy, that now everything will run on CNG, literally everything. I mean, cars started getting converted to CNG overnight, people converted their generators at home to natural gas. So everybody naturally thought that CNG is the way to go, so why not open a CNG pump or open a CNG section on your pump? Then suddenly this government comes in and says there's no gas. Again, that might be true, that might not be true. I do have one source in the industry who told me there's enough gas, that this is all linked. And again, I'm just saying this based on what knowledge I have, that this is based on certain vested interests in LNG import contracts that heavyweights in the government have. They want to create a gas shortage so they can import because there's a lot of kickbacks involved in that. But actually there's enough gas. But let's assume there's not enough gas. Now what the CNG station owners have been told, I mean, I'll come back to the pricing thing, which is affecting them again. They've been told that the stations that have licenses, say they've got a 10-year license, once that license expires, it will not be renewed. So the billions of rupees of investment that they've made, they know it's not going to last more than 10 years, 15 years at the most. Now, as far as the pricing goes, the Supreme Court slashed the prices, Ogra followed suit, slashed the prices, but taxes have not been reduced. So they were selling CNG at 90 rupees or 95 rupees a kilo and say paying a certain amount of tax. Now they're selling it at 54 rupees a kilo and paying the same amount of tax. So their profits actually have been killed. Well, two things I think should happen. One, I said the classification ban. Luxury vehicles, Land Cruisers or larger private vehicles should not be allowed to have CNG. The other thing that I think people need to do is to learn to inculcate some self-discipline. I mean, if you can make one shopping trip a week, get all your groceries, do that. Why do they have to go every day? Well, I forgot bread. Or today I need to go for butter. Now I need jam. No, don't do that. Why can't we carpool? Why can't we drive less? I mean, it's not just about getting stuff cheap. It's also about saving. Why do we have to live like a nation of races? We're not. We're poor people. We should act like it.